What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Shelby Lifestyle. So it's been a few days, I think, since I made my last video, and it's been really focused on Shelby GT350 content. So in today's episode, we're going to change it up with the Super Snack, and actually we have some new information that I'd like to share for the channel. But the topic of today's video is not going to be about this car or the Shelby 350 or the new 500. It is going to be solely about the new Ford GT. You know what, guys? To talk about the new Ford GT, I'm going to head to where you find all the exotic cars in California. And there, I'm going to reveal whether I got the car or not. My question to you guys real quick before I actually say it. What do you think? Deep down, what do you think? Do you think this channel got a Ford GT? You're going to find out today. Okay, so where am I right now? I'm in San Diego, specifically O'Gara of La Jolla, and the awesome part about it, guys, is that you do have a few McLaren 600 LTs behind me. Now, before I get into all of that, I did mention that I heard back from Ford regarding my Ford GT application. Now, it's been since November is when I actually sent out my application for the Ford GT. As you guys know, I've been pretty hyped up about the new Ford GT for quite some time now on the channel. I really wanted to showcase it and track the car a lot alongside the GT350R. Pretty exciting. I was pretty hyped up about it, guys, but didn't exactly go as planned. Here's the email I got from Ford right here. As you can tell, it says, "Thank you for your interest in the new Ford GT and for Ford in general. Unfortunately, the demand has outstripped supply, and we cannot fulfill your request. Can't always work out, and I know these cars, they're not making very many of them, and Ford handpicks every single person. So let's say if I'm over here, this is their bubble of the owners they prefer, and I'm just not one of those people. At the same time, you got to look at the positives, not the negatives. So instead of getting the Ford GT, I get to have, well, I don't have to spend $500,000 on the car, which is quite frankly why I am here today, because the Ford GT competes against all these fellow supercars, and it does cost an extreme amount of money. This car right here, the Performante Lamborghini, this costs, I think the MSRP is around $280 something. Roughly, these cars come out to be $300,000. Now, that is a ton of money, but they did raise the price of the Ford GT. So now, instead of $460,000, it comes out to be, I think, $497. So essentially $500,000 in, let's say you wanted to put an over-the-top stripe on the new Ford GT, right? The dual stripes. My ideal spec would be the blue with the dual white stripes, but the stripes alone come out to be a $10,000 option. Not just that, though. The wheels, so these are pretty cool wheels, but on the Ford GT, if you did want the carbon fiber wheels, which I would have ordered that, that's a $15,000 option. Now, if you compare that with my GT350R, the price of the R versus the normal 350 is an $8,000 difference. And with that, you're also getting a carbon fiber wing. When it comes to the Ford GT, it seems like everything is just much more expensive. Let's say that you wanted to get an accent package with the interior. Well, that would be a $30,000 option on the Ford GT. So the more and more I look at it, since I was not accepted to buy the Ford GT, I feel as if the Ford GT now, it's not exactly a Ford, because someone who can afford a $600,000 race car isn't really your normal Ford owner. Also, for that price, I can get two Performantes, which I'm not going to. That's an extreme amount of money. But the Performante alone outperforms the Ford GT. That being said, I'm still a major Ford fan, and I love what they're doing, but honestly, yes, it would have been great to get a Ford GT, but now I think instead of waiting 3 years, it's going to be like a 2021 or 2022 car if I would have gotten it, I can focus on getting something else. I had a McLaren 600 LT on order, completely different spec than this. Vega Blue, Club Sport Pro package, which gives you the carbon fiber roof, the center seats, and basically track ready. Now, I've kind of left you guys in the dark now for a few months, and the last time I actually spoke about it openly on the channel was, I believe, last year. But as you guys know, I did mention it would be coming in March. Well, the car was finished, it came in, but I had one choice to make. I can either buy the car or wait until Ford responds regarding my Ford GT application. I decided to roll the dice because the Ford GT is a Ford and we are a Ford channel, so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to hope that we get it. Essentially, I turned down the car and I just waited. Now, as you guys know, the Ford GT didn't work out, really. If I were to given them the money for this car, and I would have gotten the Ford GT, well, Ford requires you to put down a 50% deposit, which is the same price as this car, because the Ford GT is just so expensive. Here we are, guys. I believe we're at Mossy Ford, and yes, didn't work out, but I really can't be mad about it. I can't complain about it because, as you guys know, they aren't making very many Ford GTs at all. You know, they handpick each owner of the Ford GT. This time around, they had about 600 allocations to fill. Again, unfortunately, I did not make the cut. In the terms and conditions, it says they try to find the most worthy Ford GT owners, and they do that by checking out your Ford loyalty and the relationship you have with Ford. But weird part about it, I saw a few people out there, actually a handful of people, who got the Ford GT and they own no Fords at all. So I really would love to find out how the entire selection process works. With all that being said, the Ford GT would have worked great, but who knows what else could be coming down the pipeline for this channel, Speed Phenom. Now, for those of you who do not know much about the Ford GT application process, well, they have revealed a few pieces of information here and there regarding how they select each owner. For example, 70% of all Ford GTs go to previous Ford GT owners. That is why if you own an 05 or an 06 Ford GT, you have much higher odds, a much higher likeliness to be selected to own a new Ford GT. I want to give a huge thank you to all of you who have shown your incredible support throughout this entire Ford GT application process. It definitely has been a suspenseful set of 4 months, but at the same time, it has been so exciting thanks to all of you. Don't get me wrong, I am still a huge fan of the Ford GT. It is an incredible car, it is so iconic, but at the same time, we really aren't missing out on that much because we do have the new Shelby GT500 just around the corner, guys, so stay tuned. Yeah? Hit that like button, it really does help me out. And also subscribe for much more of the Shelby lifestyle. This is what we do here on this channel. Thanks again, and I'll see all of you in the next episode.